The ball cap's not involved. Hello everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Overdrive Files, and it's looking like the Green Lantern series for HBO Max is really starting to get things rolling. It was announced at Warner Brothers press conference, I believe, Seth Grahame-Smith and Mark Guggenheim to write Green Lantern's TV series for HBO Max. This is coming from Deadline. Like I said, they did, I don't know if it was like a shareholders meeting or what, where this was announced, but I guess that's where it came from. Okay, so Greg Berlanti, known for his CW sort of Arrowverse stuff. Mark Guggenheim and Greg Berlanti were attached to the 2011 Ryan Reynolds movie. I think Mark Guggenheim was a writer on that. Seth Grahame-Smith, we know him from, he's done some smaller movies, but what we sort of know him for was being like the first writer that was attached to the Flash movie back in like 2016. I think he was attached to write the Flash. Then it went to the dude who wrote Dope, and the rest is history at this point. But we're finally getting some movement, some traction going on in this Green Lantern TV series for HBO Max. One person is not involved in this article at all. That's Geoff Johns, which is very interesting, and not even like his production company, Mad Ghost Productions. But anyway, so Greg Berlanti is executive producing this thing. Mark Guggenheim, Seth Grahame-Smith. I think Seth Grahame-Smith might be the showrunner for this thing. But anyway, here, let's get into the article. Greg Berlanti's television adaptation of Green Lantern for HBO Max has found its writers and showrunner. The latest remake of the DC comic book will be written by Seth Grahame-Smith, writer of the Lego Batman movie, and Mark Guggenheim, co-creator of Arrow and a writer on the 2011 Green Lantern movie. He also wrote a lot of Arrow episodes, too, for the CW. Grant Smith, who at one point was attached to write and direct the long gestating feature adaptation of The Flash, will showrun the series, which has been handed a 10-part order by Warner Media streaming service. The series is being produced by Berlanti Productions in association with Warner Brothers. The drama will depict the adventures of a multitude of Lanterns, including Guy Gardner, Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, and Alan Scott, Earth's first Green Lantern, who true to the comics is a gay man, and many more. The series will include fan favorites such as Sinestro and Kilowog, and will introduce new heroes to the ranks of the Green Lantern Corps. The project was first unveiled at the end of 2019 at the HBO Max Warner Media Day presentation, where Berlanti said that it would be unlike anything seen on television. He said at the time, in what promises to be our biggest DC show ever made, we will be going to space with the Green Lantern television series. Damn right. At TCA earlier this year, HBO Max head of original content Sarah Aubrey said that the series would span several decades on focus on two stories about Green Lanterns on Earth, as well as one in space with the story of Sinestro. Green Lantern reached the screen, blah, 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 blah. The rest is not important. It's talking about the Ryan Reynolds movie with Reynolds and Mark Strong. But anyway, cool stuff there. And it's just awesome to finally see some movement on this thing. Now, it's not like we have like casting for these characters like Guy Gardner or Jessica Cruz, anything like that. But it's cool that they're focusing on those. Obviously, like Alan Scott is the JSA version of the Green Lantern, right? In like the 30s and the 40s and stuff like that. And it says it's going to be spanning decades. So we're going to get that kind of like old-timey Green Lantern as well as like a modern day. It's interesting. And like my biggest concern with like Berlanti being attached to this, and like I loved the first two seasons of The Flash, and like the rest of the shows I was never really that interested in. But they always just felt very formulaic. Like everybody had their kind of their command center with their team of friends who were like their superhero like teammates. And I don't know. I just lost interest in those shows. And but I really do love those like first two seasons of The Flash. I thought those were great. But I mean, My biggest concern was just Berlanti being attached to this thing. And, you know, Green Lantern is a character that you need to throw a big budget at with all the visual effects and stuff like that. Everything on Oa, and it's nice to hear that Sinestro and Kilowog are going to be involved in this show. That's pretty awesome. But I just wanted a Green Lantern series to have the sort of budget it deserves, and those like CW shows are just, you know, they're skimping on some cash trying to make those seasons. But it really sounds like they're going to be throwing a lot of money at this thing, and you know, just the visual effects that like we see, you know, in like Game of Thrones, and even just like the pilot episode, the opening to the pilot episode of Lovecraft Country, it's just like the visual effects they can throw in a TV show nowadays is just, it's unreal. So, you know, it makes me excited to hear that this is going to be, you know, something we have not seen before. And, you know, the movies, or I guess the show rather, is going to be taking place in space. It's not just going to be on Earth. You know, they're going to be traveling to space, and we're going to see that interstellar sort of vibe to the show. So I'm looking forward to it. As far as like the characters and like what the story could be, I have no idea where they're going with this thing, but I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And I think it could be badass. And, you know, is it going to tie into the Green Lantern movie? I think Geoff Johns is still attached to that thing, Mad Ghost Productions. You know, it's interesting to not see his name at all in this article as far as like how this show is being developed and all that stuff. You know, he very well might be an executive producer on the show. I'm not really sure, but we haven't heard anything necessarily about the movies, so he could still be attached to that thing, or maybe he's been downgraded, maybe just focusing on Stargirl. That's probably the right thing for the guy to do anyway. But I'm looking forward to Green Lantern on HBO Max. Not sure when this thing's expected to make its debut, maybe like 2022, something like that. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. What do you think of the slew of characters that are going to be popping up in this thing? Even Sinestro and Kilowog. Yeah, leave your thoughts down below. Make sure to subscribe for future videos. I'm Rex Overdrive. I'll see you next time.